Hey, bubbling, coming in, crushing this art. Hey, we're back at it. I decided to start with the first sign of fall. Even though I've already, this is my third video, I'm on a roll. Alright, so this is, plus, I'm like 29 degrees, or 28, point something degrees, Libra rising. So, why not just roll on to what I can kind of vibe with, so. Alright, so this would be personally a supportive person. This would be personally someone who likes to support what they love, right? Ruled by Venus and generating ideas on how to do that, like solid ideas with the Saturn exaltation, right? So someone that wants to support what they love, not necessarily it is a supportive energy, it's opposite from Aries, the individual energy. So it is I want to support what I love, which is what I love out there in a way. So yeah, I want to be harmonious with things. The ruled by Venus. So yeah, this would be someone that wouldn't want to necessarily be aggressive, right? The Venus ruler. This would be someone that just wants to be in a place where they can support and not go against the grain, straight up. Yeah, and this would be a cardinal sign. So this is someone that wants to bring things into being. They want to, when they're supporting something, they want to bring new ideas to the table. Yeah. So. Then this will be someone with Aries in their 7th house. So this will be someone with their one-on-one relationships. This is where they learn a lot of that selfish energy. They learn that people aren't necessarily just doing it for the team, right? They're doing it for themselves, and when the team aligns with that, that's when they hop on board. So they would learn a lot of that Martian energy from their one-on-one relationships, yeah. So then if we go to the 4th house, this would be Capricorn. So this would be someone that privately is trying to develop new structures. So I this is not a good placement for Capricorn, right? Because the 4th house, you want more cozy houses. So I guess, and it's just opposite to Cancer in the 10th house. So this would be you feel like privately you have to develop a sense of structure, right? And so. And yeah, and then your private life is ruled by Saturn, right? It's ruled by what makes sense, not necessarily what you like, right? So it's almost privately, there are a lot of these cold experiences for the Libra that teach them just what needs to be done, that may make them more relatable, because they're the world's kind of a cold world, right? Instead of the Aries rising where their private life is so welcoming and Cancer, right? So yeah, so that might play into how they're a little bit of how they're Libran, right? Now, if we go to the 10th house, this would be Cancer. So this would mean publicly they would be seen as someone that's welcoming, receptive, and also publicly, with how they're seen, they'd like to go back to their roots, whatever their moon is, if that makes sense. Whatever they resonate with, whatever makes them comfortable is kind of where they want to be publicly. So yeah, so it's almost if someone like this is not seen well publicly, that might affect them a lot, because they have the Cancer here. There would be a lot of reception, or a lot of reception in that field, in that 10th house, in that public life. So yeah. So now if we move on to values, the 2nd house, this is Scorpio. So this would mean when Libra does get attached to something, they really get attached to it, like the obsession energy, right? So, yeah, this would just be deep attachments to their values. Once they value something, they do not want to let go. And so the 8th house would be Taurus. So behind closed doors, how they connect to occult things, the things that are unseen, inheritance. These would be things that are fixed earth. So it's almost it wouldn't be mutable or cardinal. So this would be someone, at least with inheritances, that they kind of know what's coming. Yeah, and also yeah, just behind closed doors, they kind of know what they're gonna do, right? The Taurus energy. So yeah, and then they have maybe growing up it sort of changed, but eventually they kind of have their own solid perspective on maybe occult things and things like that, things that are hidden. But then again, a lot of occult things even nowadays aren't hidden anymore. So I don't even know necessarily why a lot of them are called occult, but like I guess truly occult things. But either way, it's like fixed in like how they would experience things behind closed doors, or how they just do them behind closed doors. Fixed earth too, like not deep, it's just the way that it works, right? So that would be the 2nd versus the 8th. Now if we go to the 5th versus the 11th, how they express themselves is Aquarius. So it's almost like they are coming at it for the team, but they're coming at it from an individual perspective. So this would be a team player that has their own unique thing that they're bringing to the table so that they could help lift everybody up, right? So yeah, straight off the bat, just individual when they're expressing themselves. Whereas, yeah, in their public life, their 11th house, like who they kind of associate with publicly, this is Leo. So when they are dealing with people that are doing something similar to what they're doing, when they're going to like business parties, when they're making connections publicly, this is where they need to be receptive, where they feel like the other people's opinion really matters. Versus, what was 11th house Aries? Well, that would be 11, 12, 1. So that would be Gemini. Yeah, so it's almost like the Gemini with their associations and who they kind of interact with publicly would just be like selfish, right? Whereas the Libra, what they associate with publicly, they would kind of see what everyone thinks, and then based on that, if everyone's kind of on board, then they'd be like, okay, that's like, those are the businesses that we're going to keep close to our business, right? So yeah, that's kind of that energy, like, yeah. So then if we go to, we did the 5th and the 11th. So yeah, now if we do the 3rd and the 9th. So the 3rd house in their day-to-days is Sag, so it's almost like the things they like to do day-to-day, they're always finding a new, interesting way to come about that. Or they can really get lost in those things that they do day-to-day. If they write every day, or if they film videos, or, yeah, things like this, they can really just get swept up into acting in that, and to where like it could go too far and they get burned, but they would learn a lot about because this is a Jupiter ruled house, that what they like to do day to day and what actually matters to do day to day. Like someone that sets up their day to day routine that brings about a certain emotional energy potentially, or like resonates with their spirit so that it can keep them up, because they might have a lot of experiences where they get lost in things that were negative or that weren't necessarily helpful, and that brought them down, right? Because of the Sag, just getting like lost in the moment, acting, and then like getting burnt from what you did and then learning from that. So 3rd house. So then if we go to the 9th house, Gemini, this would be someone that they could do this, they could do that. Like their purpose isn't set, which would make sense for a Libra rising. Like their purpose has to do kind of with mutable communication. Like what is needed here, being receptive and communicable. So that would make sense for a Libra, right? So that would be the 3rd versus the 9th. So now if we go to the 6th versus the 12th, the 6th is Pisces. So this would be someone that gets lost emotionally in something when it breaks down. So this would be someone that could have like a hard time potentially developing new routines. Just because like Pisces is like the most fluid of the signs, right? Like if you're trying to like create something new, you really kind of want to be cardinal, or you want to be fixed, or you want to be like earth, or you want to be air, or maybe even like a little bit of fire. But this does seem like someone that could get a little bit too lost in like the wrong things when they're trying to develop a new routine or pattern, or could be like a little too lost emotionally in what they're in work, like their 9 to 5, and they have a lot of lessons that they have to learn on how to take things emotionally and what to get lost into emotionally, because like when they're trying to set something new up, or they're trying to take care of the creative projects like to a new level, like they're trying to like they decided they're going to help this new group of people, and they have like the step-by-step plan. It's almost like each step they could get lost in and then get too emotionally invested in trying to figure out how to develop this new thing, to the point where like it may just be overwhelming, and they may need to figure out how to like rework their emotions around that, or safeguard their emotions when things either break down, and they need to figure out like a way to like fix this, or they're in their 9 to 5, or they're trying to bring something new about, where it's just like the grind to get it into action. Like before the garden's blooming, you're just getting everything together. So this would be someone that's really deeply attached to like their 9 to 5 and things like that. So hopefully this is somewhere where they really can get lost into it emotionally and it would be healthy, right? But that's hard, so good luck. So yeah, and then if we go to the 12th house, this would be Virgo. So once they actually do hit a solid limit, they figure out that this is kind of the way things are. This is coming at it from a mutable earth, so it's kind of like, it seems like almost like Gemini, but more earthly. So it's almost like trying to figure out why. Not like it could be this or it could be that, but it's like, what? Like, why does it have to be that way? Like the Virgo kind of energy, like trying to understand it for like what it is, like on a practical level, right? So maybe they could come to a solid understanding, and then that could help them with doing like their 9 to 5 or whatever, like why they have to do this and are kind of stuck with this limit until, you know, maybe they work enough time to where they could be doing something else or something like that. But it would be like, once they actually do hit a limit, they would try to figure out like, what does this mean, like logically, mechanically, like how is this gonna shape my life in a way. They'd want to have an understanding over what that limit is. So yeah, so that would be the 1st, 7th, 4th, and 10th, and all the others for Libra rising. So bubbling, coming in, crushing this art.